Israel, the Ashkenazi, who are occupying Jerusalem, who are occupying Israel, are not in the line of Jesus. Too soon? I don't know. But yeah. Genesis chapter 10, verses 1 through 3. Listen carefully. Let the Bible talk. If you've got a copy, you can read it for yourself. In one verse, we can handle the whole business. But I got more than one. Verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and to them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog. These names will come up again. Gomer and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tabul, and Meshech, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. And we can stop right there. Now those other two names will come up again, right? Rephath and Targama. Togarma will come up again. But in Genesis chapter 3, in Genesis chapter 10, verse 3, we don't have to go any further than there. And if you look at the chart again, you will see under Gomer is the name Ashkenaz. Sometimes it baffles me to a degree why something this easy to find has not been found before or made very clear. I've had people making comments on YouTube wanting to discuss or refute or whatever the things that I am saying, and we got to get past just this verse. This isn't the only one. This isn't the only thing I'm going to show you. But clearly, if we're looking at the table of nations, if we're tracing them, the Ashkenaz who occupy Jerusalem, who occupy Israel, are not descendants of Jesus, are not connected to David. I'm going to show you a verse in a moment that shows you exactly where they were. Because there's also discussions that come up about, that their blood is mixed with this and that and all that. I can show you exactly where they were. It's really, to me, I went through a whole process in order to change my mind. So I'm not suggesting that overnight, when you've been conditioned to think a particular way, that it just goes away. But it's still simplistic, even though it requires some rethinking. It's not hard to find, okay? So, yeah, it's not hard to find. Not hard to find. So let's go a little bit further. I want to show you now. This is going to be our first peek into some maps. These are ancient illustrations of ancient maps, the location of different people. And you'll see there at the top, written in green in the yellow section, Japheth, however you wish to say that. You see that there. You will also, and I'll show you on another map, you will also see some of those other names, and I might toggle back just so that you realize that there is a connection there, right? These other names, Tarshish and Tabul, Gog and Magog, those names will come up again as we continue on. Okay? Let me show you something that might be a little bit clearer and I can better define for you maybe now. Okay, so Tarshish, Great Britain. Gog, that's Russia. Okay, Tabul. Tabul is, we're getting over into Turkey, the Turkish area. Magog, we're talking about the Germanic areas or Europe. And when you look at the area of Ukraine, you look at Poland, you look at Germany, you will find that that's where the Ashkenaz were by name. History. That's why when Hitler did his awful atrocities against these precious folks, that's why he was able to do that. They were already there. And you may not disagree with that there is a large contingent of them in Russia, in Ukraine, in Poland, in Germany, especially, you know, in France, in all throughout that. There's Sephardic Jews. When you look at that area, it's there's not a question, perhaps, that that's where they were and where many of them still are. The question that comes up is, when did they get there? Is this Matthew 24, AD 70? And we'll cover all of that. I don't think in this section. We'll get to it, though. We'll talk about Josephus, people that lived at that time. We'll talk about DNA from that time. We'll work through all of that to explain things with Proto-Afro-Asiatic and you know, because no one will say Afro-Asiatic, but we're going to deal with Proto first, the first people of that time, and whatever, and we'll be able to discover that these are people, these are black-skinned people living in that region at that time. We're going to let the Bible and science tell you that. But let's first answer this question. The descendants, the Ashkenazi descendants of Japheth, where did they go? If they're not connected to Shem, then where were they? Let's let the Bible talk again. Set up a standard. Jeremiah 51:27. You should read the entire chapter so you get a full picture. Set up a standard in the land. Blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Irat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Appoint a captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Okay. What it is, they're coming. Babylon is about to be punished for what they've done to Israel. Right? And so these are folks coming from northern territories. Now this is after the Exodus. This is, you know, around the Babylonian captivity. David is gone. David and Goliath, all those things had happened already. And the Ashkenaz are specifically being named, coming down from northern Europe to what would have been Iraq, to Babylon, to deal with those that had taken Israel into captivity. And we haven't gotten to science. That's just Bible. That's the Bible speaking to us. So we know that they don't descend from Shem. Unless we're going to argue with Scripture. If you're listening to this and you're a Christian, I hope that there it is. Now we have proof where they settled even more, although there is proof. The maps that I showed you, those illustrations, nobody's making those up. We can prove by DNA that those people were in those territories. But I'm reinforcing it by showing you in Scripture that that is exactly where those people were located, where they lived. I believe, can't prove it, I believe that it was the Tower of Babel incident when they left. But I know for a fact that they were not around for the Exodus. They weren't around for that. They weren't around for what we've seen over and over and over again in movies. They weren't around for that. They were somewhere else. They were in Europe. I'm going to give you a minute. I often, if you're watching me for the first time, I'll use surprise faces and things like that to give your brain an opportunity to assimilate and accommodate the information. But this is significant. To understand that the people that, and I'm going to show you when they came to Jerusalem. We're going to talk about all of that. So you got to come back. Can't do it all in one night.